Hi, I'm Mark Little. I was just looking at the comments. I saw a new question come in, which is how to find new clients as a financial advisor. So, interesting question. I know that client acquisition is a big issue for most financial advisors, and all I can tell you is the way that I have always acquired clients and the way we've always trained it with financial advisors we work with. I do not like sales tactics. I do not like manipulative closing techniques or appointment setting techniques. I rejected all of that in my 20s when I was hired at a Wall Street based firm. So if you're asking me how to acquire new clients as a financial advisor, you will just invest half your week, a minimum of 20 hours a week, catching up with 10 to 20 people every week just on a personal basis. I am literally talking about just meeting with friends, grabbing coffee, grabbing lunch with somewhere more than 10, but closer to 20 people per week. And just to catch up, no ulterior business motive, literally just catching up with friends. A lot. And that's the momentum that's required. But there are several elements of this, and trust me, it takes some skill to implement what I'm describing here. But if you are skilled at what I'm about to describe, you will start building a 6, 7, 8-figure business very rapidly. So you're meeting with that many people. You need to have some method of marketing yourself in a way that your friends don't realize that you're marketing. Now, I've talked about this in other videos, but the way I've always done this is I come prepared whenever I'm meeting with a friend with what I call a vignette. A vignette is nothing more than a little client story that I've prepared, very short, a minute and a half, 2.5 minutes at the absolute most, and I just sort of wait. I'm catching up with a friend, grabbing coffee. I open the meeting saying, so what's going on with you? What's been happening? And they tell a story, and I'm just sitting there listening intently, and at some point, they will pause and realize they're doing all the talking, and they'll say, so Mark, I'm doing all the talking here. What's going on with you? At which point I'll say, well, I've been very busy with business. Trying to help clients. And then I launch in to my vignette. I'll say, well, let me give you an example of the kind of clients that come in to meet with me. And I will tell a well-prepared story with a beginning, a middle, and an end, where in essence I am explaining about a client coming in with some significant financial issue, and of course we struggle to resolve it, and in the end we're victorious, we solve the problem, client lives happily ever after. Amazing! So imagine every time you meet with a friend, you come prepared with a little vignette like that. Well, that's marketing. So now that you are subconsciously training literally everyone that you know on how to describe you to other people. So when they're out in the wild with you not present, and they have someone they know that's struggling with some significant financial issue, and they say, what would you recommend? Then your friend is able to say, well, I have this friend who helps people with significant financial issues, and let me tell you some of the stories he's told me. And then they are out there marketing your services for you. So I've always called this my army of marketers out there in my community, making sure that my potential ideal client community knows that I exist. And that's marketing. But what's the piece that's missing? If that's marketing, how do you find new clients then? Well, eventually you will find clients that way. That takes about 12 weeks to master that skill. And by the end of 12 weeks, if you're effective, you'll start seeing referrals coming in from the marketing. But then what is sales? Well, I'm not a big fan of the word sales, but it makes sense when you think of it in terms of sales versus marketing. If marketing is about building your reputation out in the community, like I just described, then what is sales? Well, it's in the moment finding someone who's looking for your services that you can help right now. How do you do that? Well, keep in mind, I'm out in the community every week, meeting with 10 or 20 friends, just catching up on old times or, just catching up on a personal basis, and I have my radar up, I am listening intently. And this is the skill that you need to learn, and that is never missing an opportunity. What you'll realize is once you are sensitive to this and your antenna is up, it's amazing as people are telling you stories about their life and they're just catching you up on whatever's happened since the last time you've met with them. If you are actively listening, it's amazing how often they are actually describing a significant financial issue. Now, it's not always obvious. Sometimes it's an oblique reference to something in the middle of another story. They might be telling you a story about their kids and, hey, I was taking all the kids to soccer and Little League and since I saw you last, and it was very hard to juggle everything because I'm also dealing with my mom who's sick and all of that. And that's it. Like, are you listening so that when they finish telling the story, you can back it up? The question is, do you have the skill to slow things down and back up the conversation just to see if what they're describing is a significant financial issue? In that hypothetical scenario, I might say, well, I'm sorry to hear about your mom. Is she okay? No, actually she passed away. And I would say, well, that's horrible. I'm so sorry to hear that. And if they were to go on to say, which many people over the years have said things like this, and I'm now managing the estate for our family, for my mom, it's, well, we have a process for helping people that are managing an estate if that's something that you'd like me to do. But you can pause and check and just confirm, well, if you're managing this estate, that sounds like a significant financial issue, is it? And that's the skill I'm talking about, just pausing to find out. Now, they may say nothing about the mom being sick. They might say, oh no, she's better now, she got well and she's fine. And say, well, great. Well, so you had the skill to check and see if there was any significant financial issue in that story, and in that case there wasn't. But what I'm saying is, once your antenna's up and you're sensitive to this, you will be amazed at how many stories that people tell you actually have a significant financial issue element to it. The question is, can you slow things down, back up the conversation, and just find out? So that sounds like a significant financial issue, is it? Yes, it is. Wow. So what's the plan with that? And just because they know what you do, the fact that you're asking about how they're faring with a financial issue will seem normal and natural. So that's how you acquire new clients. You just spend half your week interacting with lots of people. That's the momentum. You have a skill of being able to market yourself. These are the vignettes. You're planting seeds out in the community where they're telling other people about you if the need arises. And the third element is you never miss an opportunity. When somebody mentions something that has financial overtones, you are skilled at backing up the conversation, just saying, hey, that sounds like that's a significant financial issue. Is it? And they say yes. Well, how's that going? What's your plan with that? Just getting them to open up and start talking. And if it's something you can help them with, well, by all means, say that's something, we have a process for that, something we'd be happy to help you with if that's something that you'd like us to do. But in any event, that's how you acquire new clients in my world. I know advisors out there are doing all kinds of things, client dinners, seminars, doing all kinds of, oh my gosh, I've seen, advertising for workshops in newspapers, and there's just all manner of finding new clients. But what I just described is the best and fastest and simplest way to acquire clients. You just get out in the community, start rubbing elbows with people. It's your skill at being prepared in these situations to help people if they're dealing with something financial. And what I just described is what launched me from being literally the worst producer at my firm to #1 top producer nationwide. And all I ever did was exactly what I'm describing here for 34 months. And, you know, that's how you, you know, in my case, I went from, you know, 6-figure revenue up to 1.6 million in 34 months just doing what I just described to you. So it's very lucrative, it's very simple, it just requires a level of work and work ethic. It takes time to do what I'm describing. So if you're willing to put in the effort, you know, what I've just described is a simple and easy way to acquire new clients. So I'll keep an eye on the comments, look for additional questions, but for now, that's it for me. I'm Mark Little. We'll see you next time.